Caitlin Clark makes honest admission after being kicked out of practice drill. Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark brings a winner's mentality to the basketball court, and it's sometimes landed the Rookie of the Year in hot water with a former coach. Former Iowa Hawkeyes coach Lisa Blutter had to give Caitlin Clark a timeout from practice due to her hot temper. Indiana Fever sensation Clark has led a women's basketball revolution and earned her team a playoff spot for the first time since 2016 in her rookie season. After impressing as one of the best college athletes of all time, the #1 WNBA draft pick stepped up in a big way to meet the standard at the professional level. However, that level of competition comes with some cost, considering past coaches and teammates often felt Clark's wrath. And the 22-year-old herself has explained how her feisty side can come across in the wrong way at times. Travis Kelce's comments on Caitlin Clark after Taylor Swift concert sum her up. Caitlin Clark credits one interaction that changed her life: "I ran away." Speaking on the Fresh Talk with WNBA podcast, Clark and her fellow guests discussed her time with the Iowa Hawkeyes and some of their best stories from their college days. That led the Fever star to admit, "Coach Blutter kicking me out," which came much to the surprise of fellow WNBA star Kate Martin. Clark explained how the Hawkeyes would often be divided into two teams during practice, and she ended up being sent away from the rest of the group when tempers flared. "Mine was only because I would beef with the blue squad," she continued. Clark allowed to return and participate in the next drill, though Blutter clearly felt her aggression was bubbling a little too high at the time. It clearly didn't have an adverse effect on the team's performance, however, as Iowa reached back-to-back NCAA championship games with her leading the charge. The Hawkeyes fell just short on each occasion, although that didn't prevent Clark from being named the best college player in the United States both years. Host Jiamfi empathized with Clark and confessed she too had been sent out of practice. "Only momentarily, though," she clarified. "I was allowed back in." There was speculation former Iowa stalwart Blutter could be picked to replace Christy Sides as Fever coach after the latter was sacked. However, Stephanie White was ultimately chosen to return to the Indiana helm in the hopes she can optimize Clark's obvious quality. The generational guard is preparing for her sophomore season in the WNBA and is looking to fire Indiana to the top after an underwhelming first-round exit in this year's playoffs. And being present for every training session is one way to boost those chances considerably.